Hey guys and girls, it's Panabum and tonight we are back with another ghost stories reading. Is that what it is? Ghost story telling? So I'm looking through another set of supposedly real ghost stories to see if we can get ourselves spooked before we head off to bed. So let's just jump straight in to see what type of spooky stories we've got ourselves installed for. The first one is called a doppelganger. It was told by Reddit user QuietVoice4846. I'll leave a link down below so that you guys can see it for yourself and also hopefully giving credit correctly. Late at night, I usually go to the bathroom multiple times, but for the past 4 days, every time I go to leave, I can see myself still standing in the mirror from the corner of my eye. Okay. Oh, this is only the first bloody sentence. I immediately got chills. Because mirrors are always very, very freaky. Every time I go to the mirror late at night, in the dark, turn the light on, I'm always afraid to see something I'm not supposed to. And imagine you see your reflection of a mirror just standing there, standing still when you're not even there. How creepy is that? It is like the other me is watching me leave the bathroom. It terrifies me to the point where I almost run out without looking directly at the mirror. I never told my husband about it because I didn't want to acknowledge it out loud. Earlier today, I took a nap in our bed while he sat in the chair next to it watching TV. When I woke up, he told me that he had seen me sit up and crawl backward to the edge of the bed and stand up in front of our bedroom door from the corner of his eye. Oh, damn, son, what? Imagine this. You're sleeping, your spouse, significant other, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Corner of your eye, you see the person just get up, turn around and go backwards. Just backwards, man. Going up and walking somewhere normal, but when you go backwards like that, and then when you look, they're not there, that's creepy. He thought it was weird that I got up like that because I'm in the last month of my pregnancy, so she's also like really big belly too, and I can't really move so good without it hurting, so he tried talking to me. When I didn't answer, he looked at the door to find me not there, still sleeping in bed. I got really creeped out and I finally told him about what I had been seeing in the bathroom. He thought it was creepy as well, but didn't want to talk about it anymore because he think it will give whatever it is power or energy. I have no idea what it wants or why we both saw it. I feel like there's more to this story. It's gotta be something to do with the pregnancy. And I'm not jinxing them or anything, but like seriously though, like if you're pregnant and it's never happened before and now it happens and you're the last month of pregnancy, I don't know, man. Oh, creeps. Oh, the chills. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it, but it's chills. Haunted hotels. As told by Reddit user Bright Eyes 10. When I was 15, I traveled to Europe with my family. We stayed in Ettel, Germany. In a small inn for a few nights. My parents had a double bed on the second floor. My sister had a double bedroom next to theirs. And I was lucky enough to have a single room all to myself at the far end of the hall. I was gonna say double bed, second floor, double bedroom. It's gonna be double something, not single. It just kind of threw me off loop there. When we went to check into our rooms, as soon as I entered the hallway, our rooms were in, I remember almost feeling as though I walked into a wall of bad energy. Oh, have you ever felt like that before? I've been house inspecting before, and I went into a room where the bottom of my stomach kind of just dropped. Like, the feeling where something bad is about to happen, and generally you get that feeling when someone's telling you something bad and then you already anticipate what the thing is, but no one said anything. I walked in the room and I felt that, so I think that's what the bad energy they're talking about is. I just felt so unnerved and uneasy in that hallway, but I passed it off as an overactive imagination. I slept the first night without any issues other than waking up a few times. The next morning at breakfast, one of my sisters mentioned feeling really uncomfortable in the hallway, almost as if the air was crushing. It unnerved me even more that I wasn't the only one who felt weirded out. Plus, she was an adult at the time, so it further cemented in my mind or my head that the wing of the hotel was odd. Later that night, I'm sleeping peacefully when at about 2 AM, I'm awoken by something ripping the covers off me and being jerked about 2 feet towards the end of my bed by my ankle. Damn, son, that's demonic. That's not just a ghost. Generally ghosts wouldn't be able to touch you, right? Spirit world could be, passing through you. Have you guys seen ghosts? How they're doing that kind of the molding thing and they're just kind of touching, but they're not. If someone's grabbing you by the ankles, ripping your covers off and pulling you backwards, yeah, that's demonic. At first, I thought someone had broken into my room because when I turned towards what had grabbed me, a huge looming black shape was visible in the darkness, like a man was in my room. I frantically flipped the lights on, only to have there been nothing there. The window was locked from the inside, there was no one in the closet or the bathroom, and my room was also locked from the inside. I stayed up the rest of the night scared, playing Cooking Mama on my DS. First question, how old is this person? Because they mentioned themselves having I was lucky enough to have a single room all to myself. Oh, 15. I don't know, man. Would you let a 15-year-old have a room by themselves? That kind of sounds sus to me. Is this a girl or a boy? Might be a boy. But either way, man, seriously, 15-year-old, maybe it's just now it's not safe. Anyway, it's Cookie Mama all the way. Probably a girl though. The next morning, we're at breakfast and my sister mentions she was up half the night because she thought she saw a person's silhouette against the wall of the room. What the hell? But when she turned on the light, there was no one there. It was just a bizarre and creepy experience. We checked out that day. I didn't get to experience anything after that, but it still freaks me out to this day. Wow, this is, oh man, this is way better than the last couple of ghost story reading I had before. This feels way more believable, especially when there's a corroboration where your sister felt it too. And assuming he or she didn't tell the sister first, it's like you experienced the same thing at the same time. It's not normal, bro. It's not normal. The rocking horse, as told by Reddit user Hillside? One night when I was maybe 10 or 12, I had trouble falling asleep. My bedroom was the entire top floor of our house, with my bed and such being on the left side and storage closet and a play area on the right. Man, this person's rich as what the hell? Entire top floor of a house. Is that an attic? I was lying in bed when I heard a noise from the other side of the room and saw a rocking horse begin to rock. Wait, was a rocking horse there from day one though? Because when you say, when I saw a rocking horse, it sounds like the rocking horse was not supposed to be there. Or was it? I don't know. I was sitting just outside one of the storage closet door. It proceeded to rock its way halfway across the room and stopped dead under the ceiling light. At this point, I was freaking out. Just buried my head under my blankets and never peeked out again until morning. When I woke up, the rocking horse was still in the middle of my room. Furthermore, I got a stern reprimand from my parents for being up out of bed playing with my toys well past my bedtime. The bedroom was directly below the storage closet. Their bedroom was below their closet area, and heard creaking, shuffling across the room. So the parents heard the horse rocking into the middle of the room. I played with rocking horses before. It doesn't rock by itself. It's too heavy to do that. And wind cannot move it. So assuming this person's telling the truth, there is something funky happening in that room. And I'll get the these stories are getting me freaking fire stop. Okay, next one. As told by Reddit user Fuzzy Bandits. When I was a teenager, I used to babysit my cousins Alessa. Silent Hill, man. That's an interesting name, I tell you. An interesting name choice. She was little, maybe almost 2, maybe a little older. Old enough to say sentences. I think that's 3 or 4 years old though. 2, you can't say anything unless you're a prodigy. I'm giving her a bath before bed when she looks out into the hallway and gets a terrified look on her face and starts crying. At this moment, my aunt's Pomeranian starts going nuts as well, barking, growling into the hallway. The atmosphere in the room became uncomfortable, and I started getting scared. I took her downstairs from the third floor in the townhouse to try and calm her down. I asked her what was wrong, and she said something along the lines of, the man with the black eyes was there. Oh, damn son. Okay, you guys gotta see this. Can you see? You have to see that. Can you see that? The goosebumps, the chills I just got. The man with the black eyes. When I continued to pry, she looked up at the second floor stairs, her eyes getting big, and looks at me, bringing her finger to her mouth and said, shh, while shaking her head no. Oh, this is an epic ghost story. That is so epic. I almost want to steal it and say it for myself. Thank you, Fuzzy Bennett. I will tell my friends all about this. That's creepy. Ooh. The Trickster, as told by Reddit user Scarlet Beeswax. I lived in this house with a basement, and every time I walked up the stairs, I would get this weird, creepy goosebump. Like what I'm getting now, feeling on the back of my neck. It didn't make me go uneasy to go down the stairs or to be in the basement. My craft room was down there, and I spent a lot of time there. After a while, I would have items I was using disappear. When I would look for them, and if I would look away from them, I would search and search, and one day I got frustrated to no one in particular. I said, can I please have my scissors back? I just had looked under the pile of new mail, and when I turned my head, there were my scissors on top of the pile of mail. I talked to my neighbor, and she told me that the original owner of the house was a joyous old man who loved to play pranks on people, and that he had fallen coming down up the stairs one day and died. I think the goosebumps were him trying to tell me to be careful. And every time after that, when something would disappear, I would ask politely for it back, and it would appear in a place that I could not have missed it before. Thanks, old man. It was fun. Oh, that's nice. You know, if there are ghosts, right, it can't all be bad, right? I don't know. The premise of a ghost is that they're a trapped spirit, as in like they can't leave this plane. So theoretically speaking, yeah, they could be nasty, but maybe they just want to have fun, because ghosts just want to have fun. Oh yeah, just wanna have... A nice ghost is good, I would say. Unwanted tenants, as told by Reddit user Vanilla Gorilla. My daughter was 4 years old when we lived in our last home. I was a single mom at the time, so it was just she and I alone in the home. I always got an uncomfortable feeling in her room, particularly close to the closet area, but never thought much of it until one evening. I put her to bed, and as I was doing chores, I walked by her room and heard her whispering. I'm just gonna caveat, any ghost stories with kids is way creepier, and I just have to assume everyone's telling the truth when they're telling a ghost story, right? Because you gotta just trust what they say. But when a kid starts doing creepy stuff, is out of the ordinary, like whispering and talking to people they can't see, like imaginary friends, it's just creepy because they don't know about ghosts. They just do what they want to do, right? I listened for a bit, thinking she was talking to herself, but it was definitely a two-way conversation, with her saying, okay, stuff like that. I walked in and asked her who she was talking to. She smiled uncomfortably and said, no one. I took her out into the hall, and she wouldn't say, but I could tell she was afraid. Finally, we went outside the house. She said there was a man in her room who didn't want us in the house, and he told her this and to tell her mom to leave. I moved us out a month later. She has not since ever had an episode like that. Oh, what? Okay, yeah, that's creepy as hell. That's creepy. That's not as creepy as the man with the black eyes, because that probably tops it. Family reunion. As told by Reddit user Big Kahala. One day when my daughter was 2, we were having a terrible twos moment. She was throwing a bit of a tantrum for about 5 to 10 minutes, and we couldn't get her under control. At some point, she, rather suddenly, stopped and started staring at a wall. Then she started lightly giggling. It was weird. One second she was crying and screaming, and the next she was smiling and happy. I mean, she's 2 years old, it happens. Then she starts saying, funny lady over and over. She asked her who she saw, and she pointed to the wall and said, the funny lady. When we asked her to describe who she saw, she described my deceased grandmother. Exactly described her. She had never met her, and I don't think she had ever even seen a picture. Not that a 2-year-old could remember a picture. I'm not much of a believer in the paranormal, but I know for sure that my daughter got a chance to meet my mom, and that makes me happy. Oh, that's nice. When I told this story to my parents, my daughter got a chance to meet my mom. Oh, my deceased grandmother. So my grandmother. Because then they just said, when I told this story to my parents, unless one of them is a step-parent, maybe, they didn't seem as shocked as I was. When I tried to get a response from them, they looked at me and said, I guess you don't remember that you met your deceased grandfather when you were 3. The same exact thing happened to you 30 years ago. Wow, so it runs in the family. So it's like a sixth sense thing, isn't it? Who's that guy? The John something, the guy that communes with the... You know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, you know what I'm talking about. John Stewart, John something. Anyways, they talk to the dead. So maybe it runs in a family, it's hereditary. The Guardian, as told by Snap Judgment. I had been on the phone with my then boyfriend, and he said something that made me think he was a chauvinist, not a nice person. And I remember telling him that if he knew anything about me, he knew exactly where I was going to go. And I hung up the phone and got in my car. I drove to the park. The sun was kind of down below the tree line, but it wasn't dark yet, and I pulled into the parking lot. I thought it was weird that there were two cars pulled side by side and talking to each other. When I got out, the guy in the truck just stared at me in a horrible way, you know? When someone just looks at you like they're looking through you, as if you don't exist. I thought, well, this is weird, it's late and no one's ever here. And when I thought, whatever, they're leaving, I don't care, I have my own problems. I only took my keys with me because I didn't want a big purse banging around. I headed across the field which you have to cross through to get to the woods because there's no trail. I was taking my time and calming down, and then I realized it got really, really quiet. I didn't hear the birds, the squirrels anymore. I just heard something big moving through the woods. Is it Siren Head? It's Siren Head, isn't it? I thought to myself, maybe it's a dog. And then I heard the voices. The first voice is a male's voice, and he said, I know I saw her go this way. She couldn't have gotten far. Then the second voice comes and it's quieter, and it says, shh, she's near you. Okay, so there are two men in the wood and they're looking for something obviously, and I kept thinking, it must be their dog. They must have lost their dog. And then I thought, they wouldn't try to sneak up on it. I stood there, frozen, because that's the kind of person I am. I could hear them getting closer to me, and I don't know how long I stood there waiting for them to get to me, but I'm completely frozen. And then I heard the other voice. It was distorted, like if you heard someone talking through a closed door or talking underwater. You could understand what they were saying, but the voice wasn't right. It wasn't in my head because it had a volume and a pitch that changed that my thoughts definitely didn't do. I could almost feel where it was coming from. It was behind me and a little above me, like it was taller than me. It just said, go to the river now. I don't know if I was scared of the fact there was some disembodied voice or a person talking to me, or there are two men in the woods. She failed to note that the two men are bloody looking for her, not a goddamn dog. This guy, you need to GTFO. Like there's no sense of danger in this chick. I listened to the voice because I didn't really have the other option. I took off toward the river. I made a ton of noises because I was just going so fast as I could, and the voice came back and said, no, quietly. I got to the river, jumped down the embankment. I squished myself against it, squeezing down into the smallest, tightest ball I could. The voice kept telling me to stay, and I just sat there, hoping whoever was in the woods was going to leave and that I wasn't having some kind of breakdown. And I kept hearing them moving through the woods, and I could tell they had split off. As I sat there, the voice just kept telling me to stay and quiet. Over and over, it was trying to comfort me. I could hear what sounded like someone was right above me, and I leaned out. They could see me, but I had to look. I just tilted my head up a tiny bit, and I could see the tips of those construction boots hanging over the edge. And I could see them hanging next to them. This dirty old rope just swinging next to them. Just swinging. I don't think I even thought anything. I was so scared. I just tried not to breathe. It felt like hours, but I know it couldn't have been that long. The voice even was completely silent. There was nothing but me hearing this man's breathing. He started to walk away at some point, and the voice kept telling me to wait, so I waited. And finally the voice said, go now to the field. Go now. I was screaming at me so loud, so I ran through the woods and just got out to the field, far, far from the cars and the streets. It was getting dark and I could see the parking lot, but it was so far away. I'm running, and I started hearing footsteps running. At first they're further away, but they're so much faster than I am, barreling after me, and there was nothing. I fully expected to see at least one of the men there, but it was silent. The only thing I could think was the footsteps must have belonged to that voice. And I hear it again screaming at the top of its lung, and I needed to run right now. And the foots come up and they're in pace with me, right next to me through the field. I had 1,000 crazy thoughts because none of them made any sense. Finally, I get to my car and I see both the cars were parked in different places with nobody in it. I refused to look behind me. If there hadn't been a voice, I would have probably been a missing persons case. It got me out of there. That was an interesting ride. That was a full-blown roller coaster. I don't know if that's like a ghost story or not. That kind of felt like a creepy pasta or let's not meet type of scenario where, oh well, you're not supposed to question it, but generally it's a story that's made up that is supposed to be read like a short story, not a ghost story. But yeah, no, that was extremely interesting. The scariest one though still is the man with the black eyes. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep tonight. I I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think? What was the scariest story that you thought out of the bunch? Or maybe none of them are scary to you? Maybe you're like, I don't know, like a ghost hunter. You got more scary stories. If you have any stories, please leave a comment down below or send it directly to me. You can get my email in the about page somewhere. Down there somewhere. But anyways, I'll leave a link down below for these articles so that I can credit the people correctly. Hopefully I'm doing it correctly. But anyways, if you like this video, please smash the like button. If you dislike it, tickle the dislike button. Leave a comment, tell me what you thought overall of this segment and if I should continue to do this, and if you've got any ghost stories that I can tell. But otherwise, you guys should keep smiling, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.